the time period when an organism comes into existence till its death is known as lifespan. So, if this is the point where the organism is born or when it comes out of the egg or hatches, that is birth, to the end, that is death. This complete period is known as lifespan. This lifespan is divided into various stages. After an organism is born or when it is coming into existence, maybe in the form of unicellular organism or when it hatches from the egg, it passes through a period which is pre-reproductive. At this time, it is not capable of reproduction. This phase is known as juvenile phase. Juvenile phase, or it is also called pre-reproductive stage or phase. After this stage, the organism attains sexual maturity. It is capable of undergoing reproduction. So, now after this, it is going to reproduce. So, this band where it is capable of reproduction is the reproductive phase. And when we talk of asexual, sexual reproductions, we are just talking about this part of the lifespan, when the organism becomes capable of reproduction or it attains the power of reproduction till that power goes off. So, there is a phase of reproduction. So, the part which we did so far was only this part of the lifespan. After this, the reproductive power is lost and aging starts. So, this complete phase is known as post-reproductive where the reproductive potential is either completely lost or it slowly decreases. During this time, aging is also taking place. So, this is also aging. In plants, this aging is also known as senescence. So, it can be called aging or senescence. Initially, the reproductive structures, the organs of the body, they are growing. They come to this stage where the organism is capable of reproduction and then it enters into the post-reproductive. So, this is how we divide the lifespan. What is the duration of this lifespan? It is variable in different organisms. Like the smallest lifespan is of 24 hours or 1 day. That means in 1 day, the organism comes out of the egg, hatches out of the egg, passes through this juvenile phase where its organs develop, comes into this reproductive phase, reproduces, lays eggs, undergoes aging and dies. Everything happens in 24 hours, 1 day. So, lifespan of 1 day has been reported in mayfly. So, in 24 hours, it goes through all the phases of lifespan. In human beings, the lifespan is termed to be 100 years. So, and we are talking about the theoretical thing. Average lifespan at different places depending upon the medical conditions or the health conditions are variable, but we are talking about the maximum limit here. So, 100 years for humans, about 14 to 16 years for dogs, some 200 years to 300 years for tortoises, and these are all years for tortoises, 140 years approximately for parrots, And for plants also, like banyan tree and all, they can live up to thousands of years. So it is variable depending upon the organism, and this is what we mean by lifespan. We just talked about this phase of the lifespan. Now, why does this aging take place? What are the changes? What are things happen when aging or senescence is taking place? Certain organs, their functional capability decreases, slows down. So these are gradual changes. It doesn't happen in a day. It's over a period of years. There are theories of senescence. Why this aging takes place? One theory is of loss of metabolism. The metabolic processes, that is catabolism, anabolism, which is taking place in our body, they are slowed down with time. So that is one theory, that probably because of this aging or senescence takes place. Second theory is wear and tear theory. According to this theory, with time there is wear and tear, damage, regular damage which is taking place in cells, organs, tissues and ultimately overall body. So when these slowly things are undergoing wear and tear and the repair is not with the same pace, then that also results into aging or senescence. Accumulation of toxins. Accumulation of toxins, or they are also known as intermediate metabolites, certain substances which accumulate, and once they accumulate beyond a certain concentration, they start to act as toxins. So that also results into aging. And fourth is genetic theory, or it is also known as mutation theory. Due to various factors, there are some genes which are undergoing some sudden change, which we call mutation, and when these mutations accumulate for a longer period of time, that results into senescence. So there are four theories, and most of the scientists believe that senescence or aging is a combined effect of all these things. So that results into aging, senescence and ultimately death. So this is how the complete life of an organism is spent. When we are talking of all these things, let us also take up one more important word, that is pedogenesis or neoteny. In organisms, we say that during juvenile phase, the growth of body, growth of organs is taking place. Now, if you take an example of, say, an organism which is developing, say human beings. So when a human baby is born, the size of the body increases, the sexual organs, they also grow. At puberty, they attain the reproductive power. If you talk about smaller organism like an insect, from the egg what hatches is a larva. This larva keeps on feeding, it undergoes some moltings, then changes into a pupa stage, and then what comes out of the pupa is the young one which is capable of reproduction. So these stages like larval stage or pupal stages are non-reproductive stages. In certain organisms, the larval stage develops reproductive structure and it can reproduce. So it is before it has entered the reproductive phase. In the juvenile phase itself, the larva, which is still in that juvenile phase, develops sex organs and starts to reproduce. That is known as pedogenesis or neoteny. When larva develops reproductive power. It is seen in tiger salamanders. Or the scientific name is embystoma. So, in these organisms what happens is the eggs are laid, the larva which comes out, the larva itself develops all the reproductive structures and starts to reproduce. Such a mechanism is known as pedogenesis or neoteny. So, now we are done with everything in this basic chapter of reproduction in organisms. All three types of reproductive processes. We have also talked about what happens or what exactly are the stages of lifespan, which all parts are included, and we should also know that the part which we discussed, the reproduction, is only one phase of the entire lifespan. Go through all these points, all the types, all the methods of reproduction, and also remember to write down important examples, because only writing the name asexual or sexual will not help unless and until we supplement it with the examples. So, that makes our answers more authentic and more impressive. So, just go through everything, remember to write the examples, and always give your answers in a tabular or a flow chart form, so that it is good to see and the examiner can easily understand and give you marks for that. Just revise it. I am sure this is going to help you understand this basic chapter of reproduction in organisms.